ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి, జేఈఈ అయినా, నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
So let us go with the types of fruit. When we take the types of fruit, we have three categories. What we discussed: true fruit, false fruit and parthenocarpic fruit. We already have discussed the parthenocarpic fruit and we just have left with true and false. Even discussed with the examples. Now let us concentrate on true fruit. When we take the true fruit here, directly we just started with fleshy and dry. But not to avoid clumsy, we just have completed fleshy and divide into dry fruits, fleshy and dry fruits. But actually true fruit is divided into three types: simple fruits, aggregate fruits, multiple fruits or composite, or itself is called as compound fruits. True fruits are being divided into three types. What are they? Simple, aggregate, multiple. These are the three main categories. Now under simple fruit, when we take, ovary itself is converted into fruit, ovules develops into seeds. So when we coming to the here, based on the nature of pericarp, the simple fruits are further divided into two categories: fleshy fruits and dry fruits. Simple fruits further we divide into two categories. What are they? Simple fruits and dry fruits. What is a pericarp here? We take fruit wall. What type of fruit walls we find? Outer one is called epicarp, middle one is called mesocarp, inner one is called as endocarp. Coming to fleshy fruits, we divide them into five types. So we take berry, pepo, pome, hesperidium and drupe. Now coming to the berry, we just have to remember the examples like grapes. Along with that, guava. What is the scientific name for guava? Psidium. Now what else we have to remember for the berry? Berry, you know that most widely example which you have to remember is nothing but tomato. So berry is nothing but we have to remember grapes, guava and tomato. Right? So instead of true fruit dividing into fleshy fruits and dry fruits, so to avoid clumsy, better you take that into three categories, main three categories. True fruits in generally classified into simple fruits, aggregate fruits, multiple fruits. Altogether we have three categories. Now under simple fruits we take fleshy fruits and dry fruits. Nothing. Under true fruit just take the three categories. Our main concept of the fruit, simple fruit into fleshy and dry. Still we have more two categories to discuss: aggregate and multiple. So coming to fleshy and dry, both will come under simple fruits. So ripened ovary, matured ovary, where ovary develop into fruit, all will come under simple fruits, right? Fleshy fruits we already have been completed. Berry we discussed. Superior berry examples we discussed. Inferior berry examples we have discussed, right? And even musa, we discussed a lot many points on musa. What is a musa? It's nothing but a banana, right? Similarly when you take the pepo, pepo when you take here, pepo best example is nothing but cucumber. So better let me write on other side. Main examples I am just giving quickly here. Berry means these are the important examples you have to remember. Now coming to pepo means cucumber. Why? Because it's a characteristic feature of cucurbitaceae. And then coming to this pepo, pepo means immediately we have to remember apple. Along with that hesperidium. So mainly here you have to remember about the families. Cucurbitaceae is a characteristic feature of. What is this question? What could be the answer for this? Then you have to remember this is pepo. And if you take like citrus, rutaceae, rutaceae will be the citrus. So where do you find that? That is in case of hesperidium. What are the examples we discussed for this? Citrus medica, it's nothing but lemon. Same genus, Citrus sinensis is nothing but what? Sweet orange. So when we take both, pepo is nothing but apple, hesperidium is nothing but what? Citrus. Then apart from this, when we take the drupe part, drupe is nothing but, we can take Mangifera indica. What is this? Commonly called as mango. Cocos nucifera, it's commonly called as cocos. So these examples guys, you have to keep it on your fingertips. Compulsory you need to keep it on your fingertips. When you can remember these examples here, no question can trouble you on morphology. And if you don't practice these examples, I am telling you morphology becomes very hectic, because too many examples are ready to confuse your young mind. So make sure that you practice all the examples so that no confusion will be there in any corner of the question, even the question is twisted 10 times. So what I am finally trying to give you the conclusion here, morphology a chapter, if you practice every day with all examples on the paper, it becomes easiest part for you to handle the questions. And if you do not practice all these examples, the chapter will become very hectic and it is very difficult for you to answer the questions. So it all depends on you how you make it easy or a hard. But all examples, whenever the same example is also an example for other concept, then you need to highlight, keep star mark, keep under note point. Yeah, this is an example, not only example for this and also example for other concept. For example, hibiscus, number of times we get. So you have to take example hibiscus. Under hibiscus, hibiscus is an example for what all concepts you need to note down, right? Then it becomes very easy to practice it on the paper. Now coming to this berry, grapes, guava, tomato and cucumber. Coming to pepper, apple, hesperidum is nothing but citrus, drupe is nothing but mangifera and cocos. Very important examples. Now coming to the dry fruits here. Now what is the second one we need to study here? Dry fruits. So dry fruits means, guys, you all know it very well. Dry fruits are highly energetic fruits which we get it from the market, and you know they are metabolic boosters. They give lot of energy. So most commonly people will have habit of taking dry fruits. But these dry fruits, scientifically if you look at, they further divide into many categories. Now let us write under dry fruits, because we already have completed what are called fleshy fruits. So I will again give you the block diagram for the simple fruits, then you will come to know the clarity exactly which part we are discussing and what are the examples for that, right. Just quickly take down very clearly a clear note in your mind. So we will come to know exactly after what is the strategy is going to come, right. Now simple fruits into how many categories? Right. So we take fleshy fruits. And what is the second category under this? Dry fruits. Right. So what are the things we discussed under fleshy fruits? Under fleshy fruits we discussed berry, pepper, pome, hesperidium as well as drupe. Right. Now let us discuss about dry fruits. Now dry fruits in generally they are divided into three categories. Now let us discuss in detail what are they. The first one under this are called as a dry dehiscent fruits, and the second category under this is referred as a dry indehiscent fruits, and the third category under this is called as schizocarpic fruits. So when you take this, so here itself I will write here schizocarpic fruits. Okay. So altogether how many categories do we have? A dry dehiscent fruits, a dry indehiscent fruits, schizocarpic fruits. Altogether we have three categories. Now, when we take the dry dehiscent fruit, it is further divided into different types. So, can take as divided into, you can take the first one under this legumes. So, let us take one, and second one is capsule. Because here few varieties were there, few types are there. If at least if I can give you the complete block diagram, you will come to know what are the categories which fall under what type. So, here dry dehiscent, dry indehiscent, and third category is schizocarpic fruits. When we take the dry dehiscent fruits, they divide into legumes and capsule. So, capsule if you take, capsule is further divided into, see how many types we have? We have so many types, further divided into. So, here you can write two types. Let us see now. Under this, first one is called as septicidal capsule. C is nothing but what? Capsule. Then a loculicidal capsule. Then septifragal capsule. And then porous capsule. What are the categories under this? Septicidal, loculicidal, septifragal, and the last one is referred as what? Porous capsule. So, individually we have to discuss each and every category along with the examples. Examples are very important for all of you to practice. Mostly after discussion about some 2 or 3 concepts, definitely confusion arises in your mind. Guys, don't worry, practice makes man perfect. Keep practicing examples for morphology. How much more you practice on the paper, definitely you can remember all the examples. Don't feel that so many examples are there, very difficult. Don't ever get that such kind of negative thing. Even though there are so many examples, but once you practice on the paper, you can simply break the confusion in your mind. So, when you take the legumes and the second one is called capsule, that's further divided into septicidal, loculicidal, third one is septifragal, and the last one is porous capsule. So, these things we will have to discuss under what? The first category called dry dehiscent fruits. Coming to dry indehiscent fruits, under this, when we take this here, altogether how many categories here? 4 categories divided into 4 types in this case. Now, coming to dry indehiscent, here they are further divided into 3 types. See how many types we have? We have so many types, right? So, what are they? Dry dehiscent fruits are further divided into, we have, first one is called as Caryopsis, and the second category is referred as nut, and the third one is referred as Cypsella. Caryopsis, nut, Cypsella. Coming to schizocarpic fruits, of course here you try to remember one simple one called as Mericarps. What are Mericarps? I will let you know later, right? When we discuss each one, we need to discuss each one in detail along with all types and along with the examples. Guys, if you can practice everything in terms of block diagrams. Block diagram means concept we are putting in terms of easy representation. When you write this block diagram and when you practice it, it becomes very easy. Now, let us go with the study of each and every category in detail. Now, so what we have to continue? Now, we have to discuss about what is this second category, dry fruits, and we just completely have overlap and we just completely close what is called fleshy fruits, right? Let us continue. So, let us take dry fruits. What are fleshy fruits there? Pericarp is fleshy, juicy at the time of maturity. Now, coming to dry fruits here, What do we say? What is the nature of pericarp then? The pericarp is dry and non-fleshy. Pericarp completely becomes dry and moreover it is non-fleshy. Then what are the examples most commonly? The most commonly we can take examples for dry fruits such as a groundnut and as well as we can take mustard, brassica. Guys, have you observed one thing? Brassica is almost an example for most of the concepts. Okay, brassica, what is a common name for brassica? Mustard. If you remember last few classes, almost for most of the concepts, most frequently used example is nothing but mustard. So guys, I can give you one small assignment. For today's class, after listening this class, what you can do is, take the example of brassica, keep it in the bracket as mustard, start writing all the concepts. That means you need to revise even last classes, see where the concept arises, for that the example is brassica. So if you keep the heading as brassica, mustard as an example, guys, for brassica we have so many concepts. So take this assignment, make sure that you take the brassica example and start writing all the concepts. Concepts, name of the concept where brassica is an example. Similarly for dry fruit also, mustard is example. Why? Seeds are very dry. Moreover, they are non-fleshy. So whenever we take pericarp is dry and non-fleshy, not succulent, not juicy at the time of maturity, seed itself is completely dry. Pericarp itself is completely dry, then we call them as what? Dry fruits. Right. Now let us talk about the types of dry fruits. We already have written, no? What are they? The types of dry fruits if you take. The first one is a dry dehiscent. Right. Second one is a dry indehiscent. And then the third one is schizocarpic fruits. Why I am repeatedly giving the block diagram? Because you should not forget what we are discussing, under that what are coming and what is the next concept to discuss. That is why I am keep writing the block diagram having the concepts. So where are we now? We are in the discussion about a dry dehiscent fruits. Now let us continue our discussion with this. Dry means you all understood pericarp is dry. Dehiscence, what is the meaning of dehiscence here? Breaking of the fruit. So how three types are made here? Why do you think dry fruits are classified into three types here? So here guys, this is based on a dehiscence of fruit. Based on a dehiscence of fruit. Meaning how fruit is broken or it is getting splitted at the time of maturity. Dehiscence of fruit is nothing but what? Breaking of the fruit or splitting of the fruit. Why do we have to dehisce? Dehisce meaning breaking. Why do you have to break the fruit? To get the pulp, to get the seeds, because they are edible parts. Guys, if you observe one thing, in most of the fruits, mesocarp and endocarp are edible. But in each fruit, you have to remember the fruits so far examples what we have discussed so far. In those fruits, which part is edible? And that is an example for what type of fruit. That is very, very important. So for that I will try to give you one table that we will discuss at the end of the class. Now coming to this, a dry dehiscent fruit. So based on the dehiscence of the fruit, they are divided. A fruit which can be dehisced, the fruit which can be broken, which can be splitted are called a dry dehiscent fruit. Then what is the meaning of dry indehiscent fruit? The fruit which cannot be splitted, the fruit which cannot be dehisced. Dehisced meaning what? Which cannot be broken. Then that will come under dry indehiscent. Coming to schizocarpic, the total nature of the fruit is completely different. Now coming to dry dehiscent fruit, when we take the dry dehiscent fruit, in this I am writing pericarp is, what is the meaning of pericarp? guys, wherever I use pericarp, you have to get it in your mind. The meaning is fruit wall. So wherever I say pericarp, there I am speaking about what? Fruit wall. So in this case, pericarp remain unopened, or it will be, or we can take splitting, but you can take pericarp undergo splitting, broken or splitted to release, to liberate seeds at the time of maturity. So this is very common thing, right? Whenever fruit is completely developed, automatically the fruit may split it or broken to liberate the seeds at the time of maturity, meaning the fruit wall have ability to dehisce or dehiscent. Now you got the point, I think. Dehisce or dehiscent meaning what? Breaking, splitting, dehiscing. So what is the meaning of dehiscing? Splitting, breaking. So we say pericarp can be splitted to liberate the seeds at the time of maturity. So the pericarp become, it will open. So it better you write down pericarp dehisces and open to release all the seeds. Such a type of fruits are called as dry dehiscent fruits. So when we take the dry dehiscent fruits here, so what are the things which we have to study under? Now this is further divided into many types. What are the types here? Let us take about types of a dry dehiscent fruit. Types of a dry dehiscent fruit. How many types, guys? Just now I have given the block diagram. So you have to remember altogether 2 types, but further they are again divided into many types. So what are the 2 types we have to discuss here? The first one is legume and the second one is capsule. Now what to continue our discussion? The very first one. What is the very first one under this? The first one under this is nothing but legumes. So when you take the legumes here, under placentation, guys, if you quickly recollect about the flower part, what we discussed in previous classes, there we discussed about types of placentations. Under that, what is the first type of placentation? Marginal placentation. What is the first type? Marginal placentation. Marginal placentation, you can recollect it about all the characteristics. The characteristics what we discussed are there are exactly the characteristics which we have to represent even for legumes. Now what are the characteristics? Monocarpellary, meaning what? Only one carpel. Unilocular, what's the meaning of this? Uni means one, locule means chamber where the ovule is present. Then these all are nothing but characteristics of which placentation? Marginal placentation. So let us write marginal placentation. And what happens here? How fruit will split? The fruit dehisces. So what is the meaning of dehisces? Breaking. Fruit dehisces dorsiventrally into 2 equal halves. How many halves here? 2 equal halves. And such type of fruit are called as legumes. So you can take example for this. So I am writing here. What are the examples we study? Scientific names I am writing. Pisum sativum, commonly called as what? Pea plant. See, Hyzum plant is also getting repeated. Guys, we have so many concepts where we have written Pisum as an example. Suddenly if I question you that Pisum is an example for what all concepts, then mind should not become blank. I am telling you all examples should be at your fingertips. So even you can write, you can take one more assignment, write Pisum sativum as a heading, see that where Pisum is an example, all concepts you start writing. That is how you have to practice morphology to make the answers at the tip of your tongue. Right? Now, apart from this, and we also can take Dolichos lablab. Guys, even you are very much familiar with this. What is Dolichos common name? Beans, right? So, Pisum sativum and Dolichos lablab. Pisum is pea plant, Dolichos is beans. So, what are the characteristics for legume? I will just show you that what legume example. For example, if you take, guys, I hope you can see this. This is nothing but, what is this? This is nothing but beans. Dolichos lablab. What is this? Beans. Now, I think you might have seen that mama is making that opening of the fruit when you take. Can you see here? This is one side, this is dorsal side, and this is nothing but ventral side. Can you see this? No. Dorsal side and as well as ventral side. Now, how I am breaking? So, see, how am I breaking? I am breaking like this. Just if you press, it will get open. How it will open? Dorso-ventrally into two equal halves. See here now, what I will do now? I think you might have seen that mama making that vegetable at home. So, here you can see open like this. Can you see? So, here in this case when you make, this is dorsal side which I opened and this is ventral side. Where the seeds are present? Dorso-ventral suture. Seeds are present on the ventral suture. We discussed in marginal placentation, right? Seeds are present on the ventral suture. So, this kind of opening, this kind of splitting come under what? What is that? Legume. That is dry dehiscent. How I split the fruit here? Now, this is like this. Dorsal side. See this beans in my hand. This is dorsal side, this is ventral side. So, I am keeping again D, I am writing D here, that is dorsal side. V here, that is ventral side. So, when I split the, look at this beans, what am I doing? I am breaking like this. Dorsal side is open. What is present? Ventral side is there. Where the fruit seeds are attached on the ventral suture. This point very clearly we have written in marginal placentation. Seeds are attached on the ventral suture. So, this is nothing but Dolichos, beans, right? This is marginal placentation. Thank you, sir. So, when you take here, legumes are monocarpellary, very important all characteristics, unilocular, marginal placentation, and fruit dehisces dorso-ventrally into two equal halves. Where do you find? Pisum is pea plant, Pisum sativum, Dolichos is beans. So, this is about what we call, this is nothing but we find legumes. Now, let us go with the second one. What is the second one? We have capsule. Let us discuss about capsule. So, I will just write little up so that you can see all categories of the capsule. So, this is first one. So, continuation of this first one. I am taking long arrow mark and coming to this. This we will discuss later. What is the second one we have to discuss? Capsule. Right. What is the first one we completed? Legume. What is the second one we have? Capsule. Now, when we make the capsule here, so here the fruit dehisces. We say the fruit dehisces in many directions. The fruit dehisces in many directions. In different directions, the fruit is the one which gets split into different parts. What are they? Now, it is further divided into 4 types. How many types? Capsule is further divided into 4 types. Let us take very first one, septicidal fruit, septicidal capsule. Now, let us discuss about septicidal capsule. Why it is called septicidal? Because in this case, fruit ruptures at septa, ruptures at septa. What is the meaning of septa? Each chamber, it is called locule. Locule is divided by axis. Axis is called septa. The best example for this is nothing but Aristolochia. Guys, again examples are there. You need to practice all examples. I am keep repeatedly telling you guys, make sure that you practice all examples. Come again, what is septicidal here? Fruit ruptures at septa. Now, you may be thinking what is meant by septa. So, better I will show you the diagram here. Septicidal, I am drawing it here. So, if you take, so this is what is ovules, let us imagine. Now, this is called septa. So, let us take this is. Now, the cross wall or the axis, what we can see here, this is called septa. The cross wall with which the locules are divided. Each chamber is called as what? Locule. So, in the diagram you can see this is one locule, other locule and other locule. How locules are separated? These locules are separated with the help of an axis called septa. Right. Now, what happens here? Septa will get ruptured. It will get ruptured. So, when septa is ruptured here, then what happens? The fruit dehisces like this. That means here, this part is separated. Now, this is completely separated, this is separated and this is completely separated. Now, why? Because breaking happens at the septa. Fruit will divide along with the septa. Such kind of dehisce is called as septicidal. Septi means septa, side means exactly on the side. Septicidal. Where do you find such type of arrangement? Where do you find such type of dehiscing of fruit? Dehiscing means breaking of fruit. Example, Aristolochia. Now, come to the second part. Now, we take second one, loculicidal capsule. Let us take second one, loculicidal capsule. What's the meaning of this? Now, in this case, now we say fruit. F means fruit, right? F means fruit. Now, fruit here, or better let me write here, fruit breaks at locule with the division of placenta. With the division of placenta. So, you studied ovary contains the ovules, ovules are attached to the placenta, right. So, here fruit dehisces exactly on the locule. Locule is nothing but the chamber and each chamber in which ovules are attached to the placenta. So, when locule is breaking, chamber is breaking, guys, automatically what will break? Even placenta also breaks. So, two things are breaking, locule is breaking, along with that placenta is also breaking. Such type is called as what? Loculicidal capsule. So, where do you find this? We find in this case. Where do you find this? We find in case of Gossypium. What is Gossypium? It is commonly called as cotton. This is commonly called as cotton. Another one is, I am giving you scientific name, Ebullmascus esculentum. Ebullmascus esculentum. What is this commonly called as? Lady's finger, bendy. So, now I will show you this bendy also. Don't worry. Now, here what are the two examples? Gossypium, Ebullmascus esculentum. Guys, it is very essential for you all to remember the scientific name of the fruit. Try to remember Gossypium. What is a common name for Gossypium? Cotton. So, general cotton whatever you use. Now, don't start, what do you say? Stop calling it as cotton at your home whenever you are using the cotton. Make sure that you start calling that as Gossypium, so that you will remember. Why? Why? Because Gossypium is also an example we get so frequently in most of the concepts. So, whenever you have to make use of cotton at your home, start calling it as Gossypium. Then Gossypium will fix it in your mind. Automatically you will remember that is the scientific name for cotton. Similarly, mother will be preparing Ebullmascus, this vegetable curry, right. So, the day when you have to eat bendi, start calling that curry as Ebullmascus esculentum. Guys, scientific names are very important. Start using scientific names in daily part of applications so that you can remember most of the examples along with the common names. Very clearly you can remember about botanical names, scientific names, very important, because whenever you see the questions on the question paper, most of the times the options will be with scientific names. Even though most of the times what happens for the students, they will remember the common name, but they will forget the scientific name. In the question, options are given in scientific name. So, knowing the answer also, by forgetting scientific name, they cannot answer the right one, they cannot choose the right one. After exam, they will tell, no, this is the answer, common name they will tell. But knowing the answer also, as they forgot the scientific name, they cannot answer the question. Such kind of situation should not happen, means start using scientific names in every day. So, refer them. So, whenever bendy curry is prepared at home, guys, that whole day you think about Eubulmascus esculentum, scientific name. What is commonly called? Lady's finger or bendy. Now, apart from these two examples, guys, try to remember one more thing. Whenever I give the family name, make sure that you have to remember family name. Now, Gossypium and Eubulmascus, both of them belong to Malvaceae. So, guys, here and there I am giving you what? Fabaceae I am giving you. You have to remember examples. Sometimes in the middle of the concept I am giving you examples for Solanaceae. You have to remember. Liliaceae, you have to remember. Similarly, Malvaceae, which plants will come under Malvaceae, you have to remember. Similarly, for the last class I gave you Cucurbitaceae, Rutaceae. So, these families you have to remember, right. So, still more two types are there, we will continue. Now, before erasing the board, let me have a quick revision. So, here, based on the dehiscence of fruit, there are three types: dry dehiscent, dry indehiscent, schizocarpic. Guys, you have to remember. Now, coming to pericarp, dehisces open, broken and splitted to revelate the seeds at maturity. We are in the discussion of types of dry dehiscent. What are they? Legume and capsule. Under legume, try to remember monocarpellary, unilocular, marginal placentation, fruit dehisces dorsoventrally into two equal halves. Pisum sativum, Dolichos beans. Coming to capsule, it's of four types. We are here. Now, two types are seen on the board. More two types we have to continue our discussion. First one is septicidal. Capsule can break in different directions, where septicidal means fruit ruptures at the septa, and where you can find this? Aristolochia. Coming to loculicidal, fruit breaks exactly at the locule, that is nothing but the chamber where ovule is present, right, and along with the division of placenta. What are the example? Gossypium. What is the common name for that? Cotton. Eubulmascus esculentum. What is the common name for that? Lady's finger, also called as bendy. Suppose if you do not know, guys, better you write down in bracket bendy. Now, both of them belong to which family? Malvaceae. So, up to here we just completed. Let us continue further.